Our quest to travel cross-country, coast to coast on the back roads and dirt roads of America, living out of our Jeep with our dog, has had us on the road now for more than a month. We've been completely blown away by what we've seen, and we know the best is yet to come. This is where things start to get good. This is the Transamerica Trail series. All right, so we're out into Woodward, Oklahoma, out into the west, making our way up to the Panhandle, and one last stop at Brahms before we're out of Brahms territory. Fantastic stuff, oh my gosh. Today's just a regular road day. We got to get from Oklahoma City out to where we got off of the Transamerica Trail. So right now we're going all the way back out to Boise City where we can get back on the Transamerica.
Boise. So what's really cool for me is that as a child, I grew up out here in this area. I was born in Dumas, Texas, and these towns out here I frequented in my youth with my Aunt Viola mostly, and my granddad. One of my uncles lived out here in Guyman, Oklahoma. So this is kind of like going back to my roots as well. It's very weird seeing these windmills all out here. That was not here when I was a child, for sure. So it's different seeing all that stuff out here.
About 3 o'clock, we come rolling into Boise City. Some people call it Boise City. Anyways, we come rolling in here about 3 o'clock today. Reconnect with the Transamerica Trail here. We're going to be on this for about 20 miles, and then we're going to split off to go to our camp tonight at Black Mesa State Park. This is Oklahoma track number 2. We're in the far west portion of Oklahoma. Boy, the roads have really gotten soft. They've really gotten sandy, and it's like beach sand. It's relatively loose. It is packed, but there's a lot of loose sand on top. So you've got a lot of slipping going on out here, and this would definitely be really tough on an adventure bike, especially if there'd been a lot of rain, because I could see how this could get really slippery. Like we've got a bit of a workaround here to the right, which is fine. We can go along on the side. Wow, check out all of that water. Oh my goodness.
I just got her.
And all of that water is where the road is. We're driving off-road, literally. We're off of the road. It's kind of a workaround. You can see where all of the local traffic has just been kind of driving into the farm field a little bit. I guess the main road just got worn down enough that when they got rain, it just became standing water. So they're going to have to come along and regrade all of this in order to get that fixed. But my goodness. Yikes. Woo! Here's a fishtail.
Yeah, it looks dry on the top, but it's not. It's a hard, crusty surface. Underneath, it's mushy mud. I'm flinging it.
That's interesting because it really does look like it's dry, but
her booty's going side to side.
We're kind of fishtailing as we go, and we're flinging mud and dirt, everything everywhere.
Lips and butts everywhere.
So Sam had warned us when we came through Tennessee, and we were able to stop and talk to Sam Carrera, the creator of the Transamerica Trail. He warns everybody that there are sections of this Oklahoma track, especially in the west Oklahoma, that track number 2, that are really just not a good idea when you've had a lot of rain. Now, fortunately for us, we've been able to dodge the storms. We took a few days off in Oklahoma City, and while we were there, the rains came through and we missed them. But they had a couple of days of rain. Now it's been a couple of days dry, but you can see they've still got standing water. This section of the road is just a train wreck. Now, we could probably get through that in the Jeep if we wanted to try that. We don't want to try that. Number one, we're out here riding by ourselves.
And it's 100 degrees down here.
It's, yeah, what's it say the temperature is right now?
93 now.
93 degrees. We're out here by ourselves. We've got nobody to help us if we were to actually get stuck in that. We've got all the recovery gear that we would need to get out of there, but there are not a lot of trees for us to hook a winch to or anything else we'd be trying to connect to.
Telephone pole.
If we could get to a telephone pole or one of these fence posts, which, my God, I don't know if that'd pull Jeep out or not. But at any rate, we're not going to try that. We probably could get through, but we're not going to try that when we're by ourselves like this. But fortunately, we moved past that, and now we're take a right turn. We're on a different road, and you know, look, this is all the difference in the world. We're back to a regular gravel road. It's got good drainage, and this is dry. We're leaving a dust cloud behind us. And way off in the distance, we're starting to see the desert mountains pop up on the horizon. Won't be very long and we'll be in the mountains in the desert there. We can see off into New Mexico. We're close enough to the border that we can see over the border into New Mexico, see the desert mountains. Yeah, so we've passed the 70,000 mile mark on Valkyrie today. We bought this Jeep brand new. We've put 70,000 miles on it. On this trip, we've started picking up kind of a whining sound that's got us a little concerned because we don't really know what that is. It looks to me like the rear axle might have a little bit of a bend to it, and that could actually cause that sound. Now, the axles can bend when you get them really loaded up, and we've got a lot of weight on here, a lot more than what we normally run. So altogether, at least 700 pounds, I would say, heavier than what we normally run. And, you know, if we were just driving down the road, probably no big deal, but we've been taking Valkyrie up and down mountains and through some pretty rough areas. We need to figure out what that is. And we're scratching our head trying to figure that out right now. Yeah, that was a little freaky there, guys. We had a bunch of cows that were over on the side of the road on the other side of the fence, and then we realized there's not a fence there. There's fence posts, but there's not a fence. All the cows were clustered there, except for one of them that was actually down right into the road. He was fixing to come into the road. Fortunately, he didn't come into the road. That could have been really bad. Yeah, so we're coming into the campground. This is the Black Mesa State Campground in far northwest Oklahoma, way out at the end of the panhandle. In fact, you can see over into New Mexico from here. The big background, the backdrop for us tonight is going to be the Black Mesa, which is a huge mesa. It extends like 28 miles. It's in 3 states, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Colorado. And it is the top of the mesa, the portion of it that's in Oklahoma actually is the highest elevation in Oklahoma, just under 5,000 feet, 4,973 or something like that. So Black Mesa right here is something that kids in school will hear of just because it is the highest elevation in the state. And that's going to be our backdrop tonight for us as we camp here at the Black Mesa State Park. So overall, really nice campground. We took one of the RV sites here so that we could have electric and water. We can run the fan and the tent and be able to charge up all of our electronics and stuff like that. Tiffany's cooking up an amazing dinner. That's going to be fantastic. I'm sitting here trying not to go over there and bug her because I can see it cooking carnitas and black beans. Oh, can I get any fatter? Well, this is the figure that you have when you're married to Betty Crocker. Tiffany's an amazing cook. and I just eat it up. Now from where we're sitting right here, you can follow the campground road around, and there's a nice little lake back there. You can walk and hike and fish and swim back there. There's a creek that runs through right where we're at, and it goes down to a little water hole here. We're really looking forward to tomorrow. We'll finish up the Oklahoma track. I believe we've only got about 10 miles or so left in the Oklahoma track number 2. Then we'll move into the New Mexico 1. Good morning, guys. We're here at Black Mesa State Park in far west Oklahoma, way out in the panhandle, 10 miles from the New Mexico border. Just about packed up and ready to go this morning. The winds have picked up considerably. We wanted to fly the drone and get some great aerial of Black Mesa. Right now with the winds like this, that's just not going to happen, but maybe later. Also, if the winds will calm down a bit, maybe some of this allergens will lay down and not bug us so much. Right now the cottonwood is stirred up. It's flying around everywhere. It's like it's snowing right here. Yeah, would not hurt my feelings if that knocked down a bit. We're gonna head out, finish the last 10 miles of Oklahoma 2, that track of the Transamerica Trail. Then we'll hop over onto New Mexico 1, the one and only track in the state of New Mexico for the Transamerica Trail. It's about 71 miles, and so we're hoping to do that and then take a hard left, head south, and get down to Capulin. It's a volcano that allows you to drive on. So there's a road that goes along the edge of the volcano all the way up to the top. Gives you a great overlook of the area, and you can see you can see where all the lava had gone. You can see where all the rock had blown out, and a lot of what's laying around here even now is still from the volcanic activity like that. As you look out one way over the valley and see everything like that, you can then turn around, look the other direction, and see down into what used to be the core of the volcano. So it should make for some really interesting video, and we're hoping that we can get over there and get that seen today. After that, we're going to jump back on the road, get back to the Transamerica Trail where it intersects in Trinidad, Colorado. And that's where we're planning to stay tonight. So there's a whole lot that we want to get done. We believe that we can get it all done. We're just going to have to see how it plays out. All right, guys, we thought we'd show you this great overlook before we headed out. Look at this. The lake is fantastic. And the rock formations in this area are really, really cool as well. You guys know Tiffany is allergic to a lot of things, including a lot of bug bites. And so in Florida, we're always having to keep an eye out for the fire ants and stuff. But in Oklahoma, we have the red ants, and these things are huge. Take a look at these things. Ants here are big. I remember even as a kid, I was a small kid and the lot next door was vacant. They hadn't built on it yet. And I remember we were out there playing baseball, and I had a little mound that I was going to use to pitch from. Turned out it was a red ant mound. I was not happy. Before I knew what was going on, I had a pants full of ants, and I'm running in the house screaming for Mom. Oh my goodness. So yeah, you got to be careful with the ants out here for sure. So the signs are here saying that they're dinosaur footprints. You should be able to find them here, and you should be able to see them here in rocks. And look for footprints. It looks to me like there's one right here, and there's some like over here. They're not as clear as I think. That looks like one to you? That looks what it looks like to me. They're small. They said it was from a baby hadrosaur. But yeah. So we're on our way over to the Black Mesa Nature Preserve. That's where you'll actually find the dinosaur footprints. Now we're over here at Black Mesa State Park, and that's not where you're going to find the footprints. Now we did find some small ones over here, but the ones that everybody wants to see are the ones that are over at Black Mesa. Now I'd mentioned before that you could see the Black Mesa from the campground. We're going to be driving over there, and so we'll get a much better look at it. We'll be a lot closer to it anyways. But as you look around here, there's mesas in every direction. We've moved into that land of mesas.
I'm a Mesa, you're a Mesa.
Wouldn't you like to be a Mesa too? And so people have a lot of different ideas as far as what Oklahoma looks like. Some people think it's flat, some people think it's all farmland. Most people are not thinking of this when they're thinking of Oklahoma. So right there in front of us, that is the Black Mesa, and this is where you go to find the highest elevation in the state of Oklahoma. All right, guys, well, you can see the Black Mesa behind me. This is the part of Oklahoma where you'll find the highest elevation, right back behind me. And here's this creek bed here. We're in the Chorizo Creek. See right there, and this is where you would find the dinosaur tracks. Unfortunately, right behind me is where they're at. You can't really see them too easily. They come right across this section right here, and unfortunately they are underwater. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see. We've got them underwater here, unfortunately. The dinosaur tracks come right across here. From here you can see a little bit, but it's not really. There's one of them, and you can see how they kind of go along. There's a series of them. I'm counting 8 right here that I can see, but the water is not clear. It's muddy, and all of the footprints that I can see are well filled with water. So with the water in there and the water being muddy and murky, not really getting a good look at them, which is unfortunate. We knew that that was a possibility. We'd had some rains here this last week, heavy storms that rolled in for a couple nights, and we've had several dry days, and we were hoping that this section would be dry, but unfortunately it's all underwater right now. Those footprints have not really been known, or not officially known, I guess, all that long. Probably only about 40 years now that people have known about these, where they're officially recognized as dinosaur footprints. They found them in the 80s, and when they found them,
the 80s or 40 years ago?
1980. So
Hey.
moving on. When the scientists discovered this in the 80s, they were able to recognize 28 individual footprints. Only about a third of those are visible today, and they say it's because of erosion and everything like that.
And kids coming down here and messing around.
I think that that's probably exactly what's been going on, is folks have been messing with them. Now, I only counted 8. Admittedly, they are underwater. Admittedly, there's mud and stuff that could have covered up a bunch of the other ones.
But you could see them even through the water.
Yeah.
While I was down there for the whole hot 30 seconds, because the biting flies were thinking I was a tasty treat, so I had to run out of there with the dog.
There were a lot of biting flies and mosquitoes at the water right there.
Going this way.
We're going to want to go left here, baby.
Back the way we came out.
Yeah, we'll go right back out the way that we came in. Yeah, so one last thing I'll say about the dinosaur footprints. It would not be surprising to me if they were to come along and close that area off and try to preserve and protect those footprints. I think the reason that they may not have already done that is because it's in a natural riverbed, and in order to preserve those, they would probably have to redirect that river somehow, at least for a short area there. So we've finished up Oklahoma, and now we've moved into New Mexico. We're on the one and only New Mexico track, New Mexico 1, 71 miles. And we started off on some blacktop there. We had blacktop early on, but now we've moved into gravel roads here. Oh, look, here's some more cows. Boomer's going to have something to say about that. Boomer is living his best life. I don't know why that little dog enjoys that so much, but he loves that. Now, the mountains that you see in this part of the state, these are all volcanoes. None of them are active volcanoes, but these are all volcanoes. All the mountains that you see on the horizon are all volcanoes. And a lot of what we have here as you go through this area, and even back where we were in Black Mesa.
Hey, in the middle of nowhere,
There's a portable toilet out here.
literally in the middle of nowhere.
I guess they're for the cows. I didn't know you could teach a cow to use a portable toilet, but
I don't think they picked up on that because I've, run through several piles.
and there's that. We've gotten to a cattle guard, and there was a sign on it that said no trespassing, private property. Now, Sam had told us that when we got out into the west, there was a section, and we think it was in New Mexico, where there was one part of the Transamerica Trail that went through a section of private land. And we believe that that's where we are right now. He says,
for sure, and it's very nerve-wracking.
yeah, we're more than a little nervous right now because we don't want to be trespassing on somebody's property. But he told us,
we literally drove right by their driveway.
They told us that we would get to, an area that was private property, and that he had written permission for himself and everybody who's traveling on his maps and the Transamerica Trail to come through his property. And so we believe that that's where we are, but the map doesn't have a waypoint or anything that identifies where that begins. So we're just nervous. We don't want to be trespassing on somebody's land. We definitely don't want to upset a rancher or end up someplace that we're not supposed to be. But we're clearly still on the trail here, and we're clearly still following the map exactly where we're supposed to be. And we know that Sam said that this would happen, so we're trying to
have faith.
Trying to find some peace in that, All right, well, I think that we've moved out of that personal property, so moving on down the road, we're both starting to feel a little better. As we get a little further down the road, I think we'll feel even more better. More better? Better. We have been seeing pronghorn deer out here, and that's a really cool thing. Those guys are fast. They've been really hard to get a picture of, but we finally got a good picture of one coming across. And then as soon as we got that, we realized, oh wait, this is the male, there's the female there, and they
there's some right here.
Connected and ran off together. Looks like there's some right out here. Really hard to get good shots of them. Not only are they fast, but they keep their distance. They're not like some of the other animals we've seen that are happy to come right up to the vehicle. Yeah, the scenery out here is just spectacular. Mesas all over the place. It looks like something out of Gunsmoke or the Big Valley or something. I think we're going to split off up here. We want to actually go south and see Capulin. It's a volcano that's not too far off of the trail. The place where we're actually opting to split off is at another section of posted private property. So they've got signs, you know, hey, do not enter, this is private property, no trespassing. You know, those that enter are going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And there's mailboxes, 4 of them right there at the entrance to that.
I don't feel comfortable going that route.
This point right here is actually a good natural spot for us to split off and go to Capulin. So I think that we're just going to go ahead and do that. We'll split off, go to Capulin, then we'll come back up and get back on the Tat on the other side of this private property. Yeah, so you can see Capulin as you begin to approach it. And you'll notice there's what it looks like a ring that goes around. That's actually the road that goes around it as you work your way up.
It looks like the top of a monk's head.
The top of a monk's head.
Like his hair cut around the side and his bald spot on the top.
We absolutely loved our time at Capulin and made a separate video about that. Please check it out and let us know what you think. We'll include a link in the description.
One of the things that you're going to need to think about, guys, when you're doing this trip, the Transamerica Trail does not take you through a bunch of little towns. We kind of had the anticipation that it would be like other trails that we had done, like the Florida Adventure Trail or the Georgia Adventure Trail, where every few hours you're driving through a small town and it's like, oh, hey, gas and food, and that you're going to need to make some plans. You're going to need to do some advanced research and figure out where you're going to get gas and food. And you're going to need to bring food with you. So we had our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches we made right here at the foot of Capulin. We can enjoy that here just one more time before we move on. But you're going to need to think about that, guys. You're going to need to have some food that you have with you for those instances where you don't just come across it as you're going along. We're going to head north from Capulin, head up here to Colorado, and we're going to rejoin the Tat and get back on the Transamerica Trail.
You can see that one. Look at that.
So the scenery has changed again. We got back onto the Transamerica Trail and passed into Colorado, so we're now on Colorado track number 1. And
See the snow-capped mountains?
it's just amazing how quickly the scenery changes. We actually crossed through between a couple of mesas, and as soon as we did, boom, we opened up into huge prairie lands just as far as you can see, and then right at the edge of your vision, there's the mountains. And these mountains are beginning to change. So like right now we're headed west. The mountains to the left are more that volcanic type of mountain that we've been looking at all day. The mountains that are out ahead of us to the west, these are different mountains. These are like the beginnings of the foothills and everything leading into the Rockies. And far off in the distance, even though it's a hazy day, we can see the snow-capped Rocky Mountains all the way out there. And it's mid-June now, and there's still snow on top of those mountains over there. That's the direction that we're headed right now. Wow, that guy like just pulled out right in front of us.
Don't miss our next episode as we move into Colorado and come across some of the most amazing things we've ever seen. We were completely blown away by what we saw, and despite best efforts, completely unprepared for what was about to happen.